Hey guys, it is, of course I'll announce the day for you. It's Wednesday and I'm on for a quick little video. I don't even have the tripod set up, but I'm here with Thomas Niklaus. I chose him for a reason besides the fact that he's the cutest thing. I'm here with him because he's the closest to a custom that I currently have in my collection. So I did have a full-on custom. My first baby was, and that was Norman Walker. But the three babies that I have besides this guy, were all ready-made, and I saw them before I purchased them. I saw photos of them before I purchased them. Keanu I did meet in person before I made the decision to buy. But I was inspired by some things that I've heard about from friends, and as well as other videos that certainly have been done by several collectors in the community, and I'm sure many more over the years on the topic. And the topic is this idea of, I guess, the stance and the attitude and the practices that certain artists take when it comes to custom work, and even not even custom work all the time, just in selling. So this guy was inspired by another Atticus that had been done by the artist, and that was, as close to a custom as I was going to get, which was that I love that doll and I love your vision for that doll, so please make me an Atticus. Actually, she offered. He only took a few weeks, to be honest with you. From the time she got the kit, it was probably 2 weeks until he was completed. I'm not 100% sure that it wasn't 3, but it was fast. She only worked on him. And I suppose in some ways I was spoiled, because I did receive updates every couple of days from her. I did the neutralizing and the undertones, and I did this and that, and I'm set to start the rooting on such and such a day, and unsolicited updates. I did not receive photos, and as I've mentioned in the past, I did not ask for progress photos. I'm sure had I asked, she would have been glad to send him, but she really gave me a VIP feeling. She really gave me a VIP experience. She kept stressing how much she appreciates the compliments, and how much she appreciates appreciation for her work, how she does this art for the love of it and for the joy that it brings the mommies or the collectors. And she says, at the end of the process, that anyone who has already purchased or adopted a Wendys-babies baby from her will automatically be a VIP. And should I ever decide to get a custom with her or anything like that, that I always get, go to the front of the line. She really just makes it a very special experience. So that was absolutely awesome. And I've had a great experience with all of the dolls in my collection right now. But I see a couple of things. Let's start with just the sale of dolls, not necessarily customs. I've seen from artists, and I've seen from, collectors who are trying to sell a doll that's in their collection, this term that seems to become very overused, called time wasters. And the attitude with which it's said, honestly, and I know I'm not alone, has made me hesitant to even inquire about dolls, and has certainly made me overly apologetic when I have asked about a doll and, was just inquiring to see if they were in my running or not, and I was at the early stages of looking. And certain interactions, and I guess my own anxieties based on what I had seen and heard, made me feel that just asking price sort of obligated you in some way to move forward and purchase the doll, or else you were going to be deemed a time waster. Asking for additional detail photos. I've definitely hesitated to get more detail and go deep into conversations. Well, not even deep, just a little ways into conversations about dolls to see pictures and stuff, because if I wasn't going to buy the doll, then it would be, would I be called a time waster? you know, these dolls are not cheap. So I certainly think that it is more than fair to be able to inquire about the product when you can't go and pick it up off of a shelf and look at it and there's minimal photos posted, or there are poor quality photos posted, and so forth, or there aren't photos of the angles or the body parts that you'd like to see. Another thing that I've heard and certainly have friends that have experienced is this wall that's sort of put up by artists, that if you ask for an update or you ask to see pictures because you're anxious for your doll or you want to see how things are going, that you are impatient or pushy or annoying, that you're not respecting the process, that, you know, this kind of thing. Guys, I have seen the varying levels of maturity in the community, and also am very well acquainted with the ideas of entitlement with the people in general. So I am sure that artists experience all kinds of crazy stuff and pushy people and wishy-washy people and everything else. But you can't brand everybody based on experiences that you've had, or else you might as well not be in any kind of business that has customers. When somebody is paying you, you know, $400, $500, $600, $900, $1,000, $1,200 for a doll, I think it's fair to ask to see photos. I think that especially when they're paying money up front, you know, whether it be a deposit or certainly paying in full, keeping that person updated is the least that you can do. It seems to be that one thing I've seen is that communication and accommodation is strong when a seller is trying to secure the funds. Once they have the funds, you know, you just need to back off and let things happen. I think I'm going to say this in a you know, straight thinking way. The two most important things are communication and clear expectations. Communicating progress, communicating expected completion dates and ship dates, communicating a plan for communication. Managing expectations. When you expect it will finish, when your customer expects you to be at a certain phase of the process. When those expectations are shifting, if the deadline's not going to be met, getting ahead of that with communication to keep the customer posted without waiting for them to have to wait, feel uncomfortable, come after you for an update, and then be treated like they're annoying. Because after all, you have taken their money. I certainly saw some recent things where someone had to wait a year for a custom that they had paid for in full. And with, gosh, from what I hear, because I wasn't there, very, very spotty and limited communication. I think it's outrageous. I think that in any kind of a business, any kind of a whether it be goods or services, where you are offering a product or a service for money, and you take money from somebody, and you want that person to appreciate what you've done, and you want it to be a good process, that level of interest that's expressed when you're out looking for customers needs to be carried through, and I would say even more so onto the people who have taken the leap to become a customer. I feel silly saying this because it seems so obvious. The final thing I'm going to say, which I haven't heard a lot about, but it may just be my newness, is the mode or the tone of communication. As a buyer and as an adult, you know, as a mature person, I guess, I find it to be shocking sometimes, the type of posts and communications that will be put out on professional pages. I think that there's a couple of things I've seen. Begging people to buy your stuff because you desperately need the money. And why isn't anybody buying it? Isn't it good enough? And please, please, please. I have never seen anybody say, oh, all right, I'll buy your $500 doll because I feel bad that you're having money problems. I don't really want it. But so, the tactic itself is odd. Two, it seems like you're trying to guilt people, which is a very small step then to making it somebody else's fault that your money problems haven't been solved. Also, it's unprofessional and it's not attractive. Sharing all of your personal woes in posts and using them to explain your delays in service to the general public and not in a private forum to a specific customer as it relates to their job, to me also creates an air of unprofessionalism and is a little bit of a turn off. And also, I guess for me, I can speak personally, gives a feeling of unreliability. Yeah, I guess that's the word I'm looking for. And thirdly, putting customers on blast in a public forum, especially when it goes on to be done with accusation, nastiness, name-calling, dirty language, and poor grammar, that pushes it over the edge for me. But even putting a post out there that says, from now on, I will no longer be doing this kind of service because I'm tired of dealing with this issue. To me, I would hesitate to take that artist as someone that I would want to invest high dollar amounts for an advanced, high-end collectible from, because it shows a lack of maturity and professionalism, in my opinion. I feel like you can change your business policies, you can republish them. I feel like that's something that you do in future sales. It's not something that you say, hey, FYI, the next time I'm doing a sale, because you automatically cause everybody who has done or is in the process of doing business with you to question whether you're griping about them. Also, it shows a lack of, like I said, professionalism or maturity and being able to deal with people in a way where, it's polished and it's clean and personal interactions are kept that personal. I think when you are a business owner and an artist, it's a really wonderful thing to always portray being, knowing who you are and portraying a sense of confidentiality, discretion, and maturity. I think that attracts the kind of customers that would prevent you from behaving that way. And I get it, a lot of crap happens and people go through a lot, and this art is something that in general takes a lot of energy, effort, time, and investment for a fairly small return when you take everything into consideration. And it's also a very personal and emotional hobby and art. Unfortunately, one of the things that we do as people is we project our past experiences onto our new experiences and actually can see things in a different way from what they actually are. If you, for example, walked in on your husband having relations with your bridesmaid or your flower girl in the bathroom at the wedding reception of your wedding, and that's how things ended with him, and then you saw something even remotely questionable at your friend's wedding or future weddings, you might actually see this impropriety where other people would overlook it, and it may not be happening, but there's you can call it like a filter or a lens through which you're seeing things. Your brain actually is making associations, has formed associations, and your body has a chemical reaction where you're reliving those experiences. We're not talking about that, obviously, but it's a similar type of thing that happens, where if you have a negative experience or you have something that triggers you and reminds you of a previous bad experience, sometimes you can start to see things that aren't really there. And it's unfair and maybe turn customers off, turn customers away, make them hesitate to want to deal with you if you jump to conclusions. Just like it made me uncomfortable to even inquire about dolls that were for sale unless I really, really thought that I might be ready to buy, because of people being put on blast and broadcast and things like that. The same thing happens. People may hesitate to become a customer because they feel like if they make one wrong move, and I don't think it's fair. Let me know if you agree. I don't think it's fair to become a customer, to be making an investment, to be doing a very personal, emotional transaction for a piece of art that is very, like I said, emotional. These dolls are generally more than just shelf things for us. To feel like scared and anxious and not confident and self-conscious to interact with the person that you're paying. Yes, the artist is putting a lot of care and they need their creative space and they're putting a lot of time in. The customer, they're not doing it for free, you guys. The customer is paying. So that's one side of it. Obviously, there's a whole nother set of things for those buyers out there that are wishy-washy, that are time wasters, that are not serious, that are unreliable, that drop the sale, that fall through, or that hound and stalk an artist unfairly or put artists on blast. But this video isn't about that. I just wanted to come in and voice that because I've seen a good bit of that going on in my 9-10 months of being in this community, and I know it's touched some people that I'm close with, and I just think it's cruddy. I think that this should be a positive experience, especially when you're, like I said, dropping a lot of cash and in many cases occupying valuable real estate in your collection space. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. So we will thank Klaus for coming on and helping us with that discussion. We are very fortunate that his artist was a dream to work with. And I'm glad for the opportunity to view the experiences of others so that I know what I want and what I don't want and what to look out for should I be in a buying situation or a custom type situation in the future. And if you're fairly new to running your own business, I think it's something to think about. Think about the image that you would want your business to portray. You may have put a lot of thought into that when creating your website and your logo and the feel, the flavor of your brand, of your nursery name, of your nursery look. Remember that your words and your manner of communication and what you choose to publicize also play into your brand image. And you can have stellar artwork, polished dolls. But then if you trash people in an unsavory way or appear to come across with, a lot of personal drama, your art could very easily get overlooked. And I would hate to see that because, there's so much talent out there. I think everyone should be appreciated for that. Okay, so that was much ado about nothing, but what was on my mind today. I thank you guys for stopping in and watching and visiting with this guy. I'm going to hop off for now. Hopefully we'll be back before too long with another video for you guys. If you love chat videos, long ones at that, and cute babies, feel free to subscribe. But either way, I'm glad that you were here. I look forward to hearing from you all. And until next time, have a wonderful evening. Bye for now.